All right. And I'm so excited and happy to have our awesome Ellen Young with us today as an interview of her experience working together. So, Ellen, you are from North Carolina and you're an amazing commercial real estate broker, among many things, property manager. So, go ahead and share with us how did we first, well, I'll just say we first met through a webinar, right? You heard a webinar, a global webinar, and then reached out. We had a one-on-one and then decided to work together. So over the course of actually 5 sessions, right? Because this is our 6th one. What was the main need that you were trying to address?
Well, I was starting out in a new career as a commercial realtor this year in the middle of COVID, and I wanted to be in a position to make money this year and have my goals set. And so I decided to be coached by a business coach, and I found you.
Yay! So you just wanted to make more money. That's kind of, you had a general sense you just needed to have some more structure, or anything to elaborate on that?
Yes, I wanted to have just, I guess, a focus, and I wanted to have someone on your level that would push me and challenge me to have the kind of goals I needed to get where I needed to be.
And how did you feel before we started working together, before you were addressing these issues?
Well, I kind of at first felt like I had been in property management for 25 years. I was going into commercial real estate, and I had doubts within myself if I could do it. And but it was really interesting when we sat down and talked about the goals. And I set this goal, and I'm like, oh, she is going to think this goal is way too high. And you got your pen or your computer out and said, how much do you have listed? How many clients are you representing? And as you calculate the numbers, you told me your goal is not high enough. And I was like, really?
Like, that's it? Well, yeah.
That was fantastic. I love that because I was like, if I had doubt, and it was a pretty good goal. My goal was to sell 10 million, at least 10 million this year. And I already had 20 million listed. And you're like, you need to set your goals higher. Yeah. And that was one of the first moments I'm like, wow, I can do this. I think I can do this.
It's funny because a lot of times it's just looking at reality. So literally, I was just asking questions about the what. So like, what percentage do you typically close, right? Because numbers are schmumbers until you kind of, look in reality of what is likely to close or not, what you want to hang your hat on or not, what you can expect or not. And so it was pretty conservative, all the numbers we always use when we calculate, and yet there it was, right? And so, but then at the same time, right, we had to address not just these one-off things, because we had cash flow, and people always need more cash flow, right? So we also took those actions. Share more. Do you want to share more about that, and just what you did to, like, what revenue in general? What was the trajectory, or where what happened?
Well, because I was just starting out, I was living off savings and loans, and you're like, how much money do you have saved? And I was really actually living off of, business loans. And you're like, that's not a savings, Ellen. And so there was an opportunity, a unique opportunity I had to manage a 1 million square foot industrial building, and you encouraged me to do it. Immediately, I took that along with my brokerage business that I'm starting, and shifted from being in the red to having a positive cash flow. And that was,
it's just funny because the action is simple, yet you were coachable and took the action and then got to yield the result very quickly, right?
Very quickly.
And for any of you out there, right, because usually a lot of businesses, you have so much experience, 25 years, right, as a property manager, yet being a brokerage for commercial, like huge properties, that's new, right? That's the new thing this year. So a lot of people, anyway, underestimate what their experience brings. So say a little bit more about what was it on our first call that you were like, yes, the moment that you knew you wanted to work together?
Oh, the moment I knew that I wanted to work with you. Well, I think I mean, you are fun to speak with, but you are, I know I would throw something out and you would like, give me an example. And I'm like, what? And, and I clearly knew right up front that you were going to hold me accountable, hold my feet to the fire. This wasn't just a feel good coaching session. You were going to put things in practice. You were going to make sure that that if I threw something out, that I had facts to back it up, and that we were going to do something about it. And right then, I knew that that's the kind of coach I needed.
Awesome. And say more about the whole, like, so your whole demeanor's changed. So first I just acknowledge you because you were just like, and then
Hey,
I was like, all this negative self-talk kept coming out. I'm like, stop it. You don't get to talk about yourself like that. Right. And now you're like this blossomed, very like confident, it was always there. It just, we forgot.
I know I would say something really positive and feel good about it, but then I would feel like, oh, I'm boasting, and I would say something negative about myself. And you were like, what are you doing? That, don't stop it right now. And I was like, I don't know why I said that. Then I would apologize for that.
And I love how you're speaking in past tense, right? Because it really is like it transformed, like you came from a different space. It's a place where I just think so many people could relate to where you've been as far as there's kind of an unawareness of how we self-demean.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we have no confidence because we're not loving ourselves. And your speaking is so indicative in general as human beings of what actually is going on inside. So on one hand, it's like super obvious, but it's like super a blind spot for someone else, right? Like, because they don't have someone willing to be like, why are you talking about yourself that way?
Yeah.
And that's what Ellen means by accountable, to hold your feet to the fire of who you are, not from like a babysitting standpoint of like, did you do this? Did you do that? Right. Which I think a lot of people can mix up accountability with, as opposed to, no, it's accountable to who you really are. That's right. That's like what you mean.
Oh, yeah, it was so much like that. I mean, when I would just start that, Anna would just look at me after like a couple sessions, really, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing that again, and you're right. And I knew clearly she was not going to let me continue on that level. She was not.
No. How has life shifted and transformed since working together?
Well, one really important thing is that I had forgot how to trust my gut. And I would look to others for answers. And really, I was just finding people that I thought would agree with me, or, I trust my gut and I know the answer that's right for my situation. And, that's very important. And I really had lost that. And I think everyone should be able to do that, drawing on your own experiences. But it's funny, I don't know how that happens, Anna, but it happened. And but I have it back. And even on this call, like I'm like, Anna, I think I got this, and this from our coaching, and I hope you think so. But if you don't, I still know that's what I got from it.
Right? I know. I was like, what is that? It comes out in all these insidious ways. So it definitely is a practice.
It is.
Yet there's an awareness there that you'd even know that you could say that and point it out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
You would have been aware like that before.
I wouldn't.
Okay, so you've gone from red to black, and that took us like what, a few weeks?
A couple weeks, yes.
A couple weeks, pretty fast. Then you sold, a couple properties or leased them out and sold a property. 4, nice.
2 properties sold, and then I represented a seller and I represented a tenant, and I'm going to get an offer on a land deal. So it's.
See, you do the inner work and the outer results appear, right?
Yes.
Because I think people get mixed up about that. But if you're doing the perfect actions but being small and unconfident, it's just not going to work, right? So it's an inside out job to be able to land that. Okay, great. And why, what makes me different, or why me over other business coaches? Because clearly you're looking at other places.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of mix the two things that are important to me. And it's just like I have a high respect for the numbers and the goals, but also for the energy. I know maybe the first or second session, we kind of even did like a meditation and reflected on what was on the inside. And that's really important to me because I do believe what you just said, that what's on the inside will reflect on your success. And so you kind of mix those two. That was just a perfect fit for me.
Nice.
Is the energy, changing my energy back to being me, and then using that to be successful and enjoy life. Like I was already enjoying, I like the job that I chose, but also I just wanted to just enjoy the moment I'm in, and not the moment that's coming or the moment in the past, but that moment I'm in. And you just brought that together for me.
Wow, you actually had fun.
I mean, I don't know, the first two, maybe not.
So yes, sometimes we go where we need to go, right? To transform, to like keep you unstuck. And you were dealing with, like, remember a friend situation. I don't like remember the super detail of it, but we went and did the energy inside the emotions in your body and feeling it and allowing it, and then moving it through. And then you had peace, right? Like in the moment, you didn't even have to talk to her, I don't think. You just got peace for yourself about how to deal with the situation more powerful.
Yes. So that was like so important, is like addressing an important relationship, kind of, it just was an example of me addressing all my relationships. Instead of being frustrated and upset, you're like, you need to decide within yourself about that relationship and what you want out of it. If you want to continue it, if you want to address the situation, if you just want to walk away from it. But just sitting there being frustrated about it was not productive. Yeah.
No, and by facing it, so here's where I want you to get. So what was the source? This is kind of how I coach. What was the source of you being able to allow and face your fear, essentially, and move through it? What was it? Me? Because if you really look, I just asked the question, what was it that had you actually cause that shift?
Well, I think it was me, but you made me look at it inside of me. Does that make sense?
I did guide you. Yes, I guided you into this space. And then, but what was critical is you were what? And I don't have like a right answer necessarily.
I mean, I think it made me more aware, and it made me look at really what was within me, not my friend and the situation, but why it upset me, and a fear that I had and how I had to deal with it. And
so you took responsibility, like full responsibility for yourself.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
But you're open and coachable. I just want to point out. I can't say it enough, because that's like one of the number one determinants. Like, you believed that you would shift something in the call. And so we worked. You were like, I mean, I've had many students, many clients, and you are distinct in, and I just acknowledge you for this, of really being so open and coachable and doing what was asked with trust. I guess you were being trusting. That's what I'm seeing out of this, right? Like, super critical element, super strength that you have naturally innate. And that was the source of your success that you can still take. I want you to take forward with you, long after we're working together or not. Right. So do you get that?
Yes, I do get that. Yes. And, just because, like in the past, just because I acknowledge it, I kind of took blame for it. And this time, that's not what that was about. You're like, just acknowledge it and recognize it.
Right. Beating yourself up is just another form of blame, self-blame, right? Instead of outside blame. Same thing. Front of the hand. Okay, good. So what surprised you about our working together?
What surprised me? Well, I think at first, just you, like, I'm used to like just saying something, but you were like, okay, like, exactly, you would want exact details. And so I had to really, what's the word? I I was just like, oh my gosh, if I say something to Anna, I am going to, like, I can't just throw out petty stuff to Anna. It has to be, I have to be able to back up what I'm saying. And at first I was like, wow, and I liked that and I appreciated it, but it made me more aware of what I was saying and how I was saying it.
In life, yes.
In life, period. And then I did not expect, like, I would ask one question about, oh, how do I manage my time? And then you would come up with this, well, what, like a whole plan of looking at my business and how to have, like, from a macro view, like, not just like, oh, you write in the calendar your time. It was like, let's just look at it from a big view and what your systems are. And, I knew that, but it was funny how I would ask one question, but then we would just address it. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with it. I mean, even when
she's referring to a marketing plan, right? Or like we were just talking about how to best spend our time, but anyway, so then we were looking at macro, like, well, where are you investing it now? Where do you want to be investing it? Like, you have to get clear on that before throwing out some template formula.
Go down to this rabbit hole of these little details and, like, about my marketing plan or my time management plan. And you would, like, want to look at it more as what's the most important thing, what's your processes, those kind of things. And so I was very happy to have that come out of it as well from the business standpoint.
Awesome. Last question. If you were to recommend the business, what would you say to them? So we'll do kind of like the long version, and then we'll end with 3 words that you would use.
If I was to recommend a what now? I'm sorry.
If you were to recommend me to another business owner or entrepreneur or business leader, what would you say to them?
Oh, well, the long version is you better be prepared to be honest, because Anna is going to hold you to that standard to get where you need to go. If you're ready to go to the next level, she's the right person. If you just want someone to agree with you and tell you how great you're doing, don't pick Anna. Pick her if she wants to take you to the next level through your soul, in not just, just through what you say and what people want to hear. So it's been the best investment I've made. And I mean, you don't give up, when you don't have a job, but I wanted to pick, like, one of the best people to take me where I needed to be. And so I did.
Love you too.
Yeah. I say 3 words though. 3 words. Gosh, Anna, that's hard. But I'm going to say 3 words I had to recommend you would be maybe 3 little financially, if you want to be financially successful, if you want to live your truth, and if you want to address your issues, you want to let go of your issues. I mean, those are just, sorry, not 3 words.
That's totally what I should rephrase this question. I meant like 3 words. How would you describe your experience?
Yeah, well, I let go of my issues. I'm already more financially in the right place. And what was the third thing? I forgot.
Oh no, it's all good. I was thinking more like, I'm curious what you were going to say. So 3 words as far as like how you would describe me or what the experience working with me was like versus why someone would do it.
Okay. Direct, if that's a word, direct. Yep. Fun. And detailed. I mean, like, you're very detailed about what my plan is and how I'm going to get there. It's hard to describe you in 3 words, though.
That's okay. If you have some hot ones, we'll do that. You can share what those are.
Some hot what?
If you have other words that are right there, otherwise you're good.
Oh yeah. No, I can't think. I'm sorry. I just can't think of
You're doing
anything.
great. You're doing awesome. Thank you so much. I love you. Like I said, it's been the best ever. You're like a dream client. So anyway, just thank you for your heart and your work that you put in, and your soul for really like going for it.
I mean, thank you for helping me change my life. I mean, I really can't even explain, what you've done. And I'm so bad. I'm like not good at expressing things like this, but I just will never ever forget you. And the very first time I saw you on that video, I'm like, I'm going to meet her.
Well, we will be in touch. It is not forever lost. So.
I know.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.